Hey everyone, and welcome back to another mukbang. I hope you're all having a great night tonight. We are going to be eating some pasta rosé with some hamburger buns from last night. I'm going to take some off of here. Probably about, no, that's not half of it. Just a little bit of it. Excuse that horrible fork on plate sound. How's your guys' last day of the week going? I mean, Friday's the last day of the week, really, but I just always feel like once Friday hits, the week's over. That's good. It's a little spicy, which is good. I like. Very simple to make, easy to make. Nervous up licking. She's just like licking the bed. What are you doing? I'm gonna stop you, silly girl. I'm hungry. It's 10:20. So I'm gonna try to eat quick, do my Big Brother video, and go get in bed after editing. Mushrooms are a good choice. I don't know if the recipe called for them or not. Carter, Betty, hi, how are you? What are you doing? If he barks, I will have to cut it out. Today I was on a Graham Hancock kick. If you guys are into like ancient history and ancient knowledge, you should definitely know who Graham Hancock is. I like him a lot. I was listening to this thing about, it was just a couple months ago. He's going to write another book. The first book he wrote was, I think, Fingerprints of the Gods. And I didn't read it. I've listened to him talk about it a lot. But he's going to write another book called, like, Magic of the Gods. Maybe not that. And here's the thing. Carter, he's not even on the dog bed. He's just like sitting on the ground. What are you doing? You're so weird. He just wants to be next to his mama. His newest book. So this thing that I watched was like all of the like proof for his newest book. And it's like actual legitimate archaeological finds and a lot of ancient history from anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. A lot of sites with actual proof. I just think it's crazy that like I grew up thinking like Egypt was the first great superpower, and it's like, nah. I've kind of been blowing my own mind learning that like they weren't. There were lots of other cultures before them that we've just have forgot about. Oh, Bubby. None of this is for you, honey. Pumpkin. And a lot of the stuff is around like Egypt. India and Indonesia, because there used to be a whole mass amount of land there that during the end of I can't remember what it is. At the end of the Ice Age, the end of the, it starts with a P. I'm forgetting now, but the end of the Ice Age, and like how if there were civilizations that, I mean, there were civilizations at the end of the Ice Age, and that's what's crazy is like history tells us no, there weren't. And Göbekli Tepe was one of the first ancient sites to really question that. But there are lots of other ancient sites like Dwarka, which in the Indian religion was a real place that got sank in the ocean, and it is a real place in the ocean. So it's things like that that I think it's hard for us to differentiate between myth and fact, and there are a lot of myths that have fact-based evidence. And he was talking about Atlantis and how Atlantis was not just a myth. Yes, Plato talked about it, but he got it from Egypt, and Egypt got it from Sumer, and the Sumer got it from India. So it's like, it's trickled down, and maybe I've been wrong, and maybe Atlantis isn't at the Strait of Gibraltar. Maybe Atlantis would be near Indonesia and India. Who knows? I think that's another point, is that Egypt was much after Atlantis. Plato was much after Atlantis. So they were both writing about an ancient city. It's like if we tried to write a story about like Native Americans with only a couple of arrowheads and like just assuming everything. That's kind of what Plato did, is like he had a couple of facts from Egypt, but he kind of like embellished. And like the story of what are you looking for? Why can't I think of it? David and Goliath. There's fact to that, even though it's like in the Bible they wrote Goliath was like a 20-foot giant. There actually is historical evidence of like just a tall man fighting like a short man. That myth is all over the place. It's not an original thing to the Bible. And Atlantis could very well be like what the Bible says, like Noah's Ark. We don't know. Pangea. Atlantis could have been where Noah's Ark came from, that myth. Same with like where was I going with that? Anyways, there's lots of ancient myths about cities being destroyed overnight, and that's kind of Noah's Ark was like in the Bible, is that civilization was evil, and so God flooded the earth. All that is a human attributing something physical to something mythical in order to explain it to themselves. And if a logical human being can't deduce that, I don't know that I could help them. But it's just, it's been that way throughout history, that myth and lore and legends and there could be fact in all of them, but it takes a logical mind. Like Dwarka, for instance, it said the ancient city of Dwarka was like let me look it up because I don't want to say it wrong, but I feel like it was like a floating island. Hello, it was an island. Ancient Dwarka. And I don't even think I'm saying it right. I think it said Dvarka. That's how you're supposed to say it. Dvarka. No, no, no. History. Sorry. Archaeologists investigations at Dwarka, both onshore and offshore in the Arabian Sea, have been performed by the Archaeological Survey of India. The first investigations carried out on land in 1963 revealed many artifacts. Excavations done at 2 sites on the seaward side of Dwarka brought to light submerged settlements, a large stone-built jetty, and triangular stone anchors with 3 holes. The settlements are in the form of an exterior and interior wall and fort bastion. From the typological classifications of the anchors, it's inferred that Dwarka has flourished as a port during the period of the Middle Kingdoms of India. Coastal erosion was probably the cause of the destruction of what was the ancient port. Middle Ages of the Middle Kingdom of India was 13th century BCE to 13th century, or 3rd century BCE to 13th century CE. So that's not that old. Do you see? That just illustrates my point even more. That, like, it was myth. It's not even a 2,000-year-old city, and it's turned into a myth. Like, like, our memory is so short as humans. We forget things so easily. It's kind of sad, too, that we have to die, and if reincarnation is real, be reborn and, like, have to remember all this shit all over again. Such a pain. I don't know if reincarnation is real, but I do know we do have this one life to learn as much as we possibly can, and I think that's one of the awesome things about the time period that we live in right now, is that I have ancient knowledge at my fingertips. I have the best archaeologists, the best geologists. I have them at my fingertips to watch, speeches, to listen to different conferences. We're so lucky. I feel like, oh man, so thankful that I was born in this time period and not another time period, because of how many questions I have. It just would have been horrible to have been born in, like, the 18th century and, like, only hear about the pyramids and maybe see a newspaper clipping, but never, like, be able to go on Google Maps and, like, get up all in that shit. So it's pretty cool. And more evidence for the... I've got my boyfriend pretty much convinced that the Sphinx is much older. Because the rock that the Sphinx is built out of is, I think, limestone. But that's not what is important. What is important is it's one solid piece of rock that was carved. And you can look at pictures of the Sphinx and see that they've constantly added on to try to stave off the erosion. If you think about it this way, the head would have been the weakest point of the body. So, of course, that would have probably been the first thing to be destroyed. And that's why it has the head of an Egyptian that is way too small for the body. If you look at any Egyptian statues, they are very meticulous about the proportions. Why would they build a sphinx, which they had sphinxes all over Egypt? Why would they build something like that and have the proportions so wrong? They wouldn't. But the fact is that it's said to be built at the same time as the pyramid. If it was built at the same time as the pyramid, then the pyramid would also show the erosion that the walls of what the Sphinx sits in, then the pyramids would also show that wind, rain, water erosion. And it doesn't, because it's not as old. So, just something interesting to think about. Okay, we're doing good on time tonight. You're so in need of love tonight, my boy. What is it? What is it? What are those? What are those? I love you, Bubby. Bubby. Ugh. So as I said, I don't know that there's going to be a pastry video tomorrow. There might only be a ramen video. And that's it. We'll see. We'll see. She's staying here, so it's a little more difficult. When my dad came to town, he left, so it was like I was able to film after he left. And then next week, I may be taking a couple of days off. I know. And since it's not the holiday, I can't think of pre-filmed videos to do. I could think of something, I'm sure. Maybe I'll do a bunch of little quickie mukbangs, like those waffles I bought. We'll see. Please, 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 please go subscribe to my brother. Liberate the bands. Please. Please. He just got a new puppy. It's really cute. He picked it off the side of the road. So he's got a good heart. Go show him some love, please. Just one bite too many. Otherwise, that was a perfect amount. I don't know why there's so much glitter on my tablecloth. What the heck? No, it's from this thing. Oh, and I found out this. I wasn't supposed to put a real candle in there. I was supposed to put a frickin' LED light. My bad. My bad. You don't want to stay? You don't want to stay? Alright, give me just a second and I will say new subscribers. Thank you so much, you guys. 2030 something. Awesome. I remember when I had 30 subscribers and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get to 50. Oh man, I can't wait to get to 100. And now that I'm at 2,000, it's like 2,500 would be cool. 3,000 would be cool. So on and so forth. I'm going to take a little puff. And I am still using that Halo reactor tank. Here's the thing. And I doubt that person's going to watch my video. Somebody on Twitter was attacking me for doing that review and having such a glowing review. Why I had such a glowing review is because I really fucking like it. I've used Aspire, Atlantis, and Nautilus both for the last year. Maybe even a little more than that. Because Halo didn't have something like this. Yes, it is literally the same battery I had, the I Taste 50 watt, but with a Halo sticker on it. But like I said, the buttons are a little bit more in. This fire button doesn't catch like my I Taste did. So I don't know if it's maybe a little bit better quality, or it could be the exact same. I don't care. It was about the VG liquid and the tank. That's what I was trying to talk about. The tank kicks ass. It's awesome. And the e-liquid tastes beautiful. It tastes wonderful. I'm just a very, like, happy person. Of course, if I love something, I'm going to be like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever, you know? That's just who I am. That pasta was fucking delicious. Super simple to make. I think it would be good with shrimp, with chicken, and probably... I wish there was, like, a good tofu meat, you know? Anyways, thank you so much to, and I apologize beforehand for mispronouncing your guys' names, David Ia, Nini Estelle, Jana 0O, Munish Jane, Crazy_HM, Carrie Kendall, Satish Chandragupta, Deepak Raj, Esthix Chan, Lisa Vals, Candy Pants, Haida Guevara, Tati C, Aquia Ifem, Isabella Tomasoni, Megan Galerniev, Jasmine H, Arushi Garj, Kumal Dahar, Shakidra 74 Washington. I go from like Indian names to a name like Shakidra, and I'm still in the mindset of Indian names like Sakidra, so I'm sorry. Shakidra 74 Washington, BB Lambeth, Vovo Ducky, Rachel Park, Brian Chan, Charlie Brown, Chised Fanua Camilo, Nida Bastirmasi, Pilates 21, Rebecca Thomas, Dread Wolf, Jay Nguyen, Lipika Unial, Naz Lim, Shameen Fernandez, Halima Chanawala, Liberate the Bands, my brother, please go subscribe, Jules667, Pish Posh Irene, Prince Luhan, are you a real prince? I'm kidding. Catherine Smiles, Sam Lovely, Tiger Pizvivo, Anurag Vats, Not So Simply Jada, Laura Ann Calloway, Helen Lowry, Maricel Jewel, Music Mix Network, Madeline Fisher, Ashley Holler, Andy Block, Jackie C, Gons and Oak, Celine Marino, Nguyen Hoang Puk, Bijou Boom, Rishi Kalra, Oscar Gariz, and Minnie Chaudhry. Thank you so much everyone for subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I make new videos every single day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!